As Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu savors his party's election victory, there are questions over how the win will affect U.S.-Israeli relations. There have been increased tensions between the two countries over the long-stalled Middle East peace process, Mr. Netanyahu's recent impassioned speech before Congress against an Iran nuclear deal, and his comments earlier this week that there would be no Palestinian state under his watch.
I think that whoever moves to establish a Palestinian state or intends to withdraw from territory is simply yielding territory for radical Islamic terrorist attacks against Israel.
But if you're the Prime Minister, a Palestinian state will not arise?
Indeed.
As Tuesday's vote took place, the State Department took a neutral stance, saying Washington expected to continue working with Israel regardless of the election outcome.
We look forward to working with the next Israeli government and including on our shared agreement for peace and security in the Middle East.
But even if voting had resulted in an Israeli leadership change, it might not have affected the overall climate of U.S.-Israeli relations, says Middle East analyst Emanuele Ottolenghi, who spoke via Skype from Israel.
A large part of the existing tensions between Washington and Jerusalem is actually due to substantive political disagreements, whether it's Iran or the Palestinian question, whether it's Syria or the broader regional questions. Those differences will remain.
Mr. Netanyahu's personal relationships and personal style may continue to be problematic for the United States, says analyst Neri Zilber.
Netanyahu, you see this whether it's with President Obama, even with Palestinian President Abbas. He doesn't quite cultivate those professional and close relationships that are oftentimes needed to develop trust.
Despite differences, he expects a continued U.S. push for its priorities in Israel.
You can expect a increased push by this U.S. administration on the Palestinian peace process issue. In other words, especially given Netanyahu's recent remarks, the U.S. will likely put forward its own ideas with respect to what a negotiated final status agreement looks like, whether Netanyahu and the Israeli government like it or not.
Mr. Netanyahu says he intends to form a coalition government in the next 2 or 3 weeks, which would give him a 4th term as prime minister. Pam Dockins, VOA News, the State Department.